Everett McIntyre is one of very few people who have totally dedicated their lives to the road building industry in Ontario for over 60 years.
He's a real school of life, salt of the earth type guy. He's sharp as a tack.
Any young kid who was there who showed any initiative or any get up and go, he would give them an opportunity to try something new.
He's such an outstanding member of the team at Aecon. He brings so much experience, so much value, so much respect for his knowledge in the industry.
I was born in the country just out of Singhampton and on a farm, and I farmed until I got through school, and then I got a job in the construction. I started in 1959 with it was Peel Construction in those days still, which is part of Aecon today, operating. And I went from operating to a foreman. At that time, 64, I became a foreman. 66, I became a superintendent. And I went from there to a project manager. And I went from there to a senior advisor for the Aecon group, which I'm still at today.
Ev and I share something in common, which is we're the two oldest still working employees of the company. He's a troubleshooter, but he's also a wise advisor. He did help us out significantly for a toll road we built in Israel. He helped us out a lot for those major grading challenges for the airport in Quito in Ecuador. He's helped us out across the country in Canada.
Well, I guess what I really loved about the work was getting the job done. I like the big jobs. I like to get them done. I had a schedule.
The one big project where I worked for Everett, he definitely quarterbacked, the entire operation. The biggest highway job ever in Canada. I think it might still be. And, he was the Tom Brady of the 407.
It was one of the biggest jobs that you could have back in those days, and it went well, on budget, so it makes you feel pretty good to be involved.
Salt of the earth farm boy, he had some great expressions. When an inspector or an engineer didn't know what they were talking about, he'd often say, "He doesn't know sheep shit from black cherries."
And his ability that he has to incite what needs to be done. And he can pick things out that many of the engineers, they don't even see that.
The proudest of, I think, is basically was getting those jobs done ahead of schedule and on a safety matter and making money.
When I was a young boy, I used to travel with my grandfather, Elgin Armstrong, and we would go to job site visits. And he always referred to, Everett McIntyre. As I grew up, I was learning that Everett McIntyre was almost some kind of a Superman, that my grandfather had great respect for him.
I don't know anyone else who's built more miles of road than he has.
I loved being a road builder. If you did a piece of road, like if it was Orangeville bypass, I'd never had a road there before. You put that road around Orangeville through a big swamp, and it was just amazing to think that could be done.
Ev's passion outside of construction is being on his farm. The few times I visited his farm, I've always impressed. He has a little herd of cattle.
Then I bought a farm right where I was born, and I'm still there.
Most people pick up golf or some hobby in their later years. Ev has continued to buy about 100 steers every spring, fatten them up during the summer, and sell them in the fall. He's very proud of his family. They've all been very accomplished. He's had grandchildren work under him that work for Aecon.
I've been on ORBA, involved in ORBA over probably 50 years. And I got started, my first time at ORBA was when Charlie Armstrong from Armbro was president, and that was 1968.
Ev has been to 53 ORBA conventions, which is in itself is a record.
Being inducted into the Hall of Fame, ORBA Hall of Fame, was a complete surprise to me. Never ever dreamt that I would ever see that happen to me. So I'm still a little bit lost in how to talk about it, but it's a real great feeling.